Good morning, everyone. My name is Bree Noble, and this is Indie Interactive, where we talk about making great music, connecting with your audience, and growing your business. And wow, it's been quite a morning. We've had some issues with Facebook pages. I looked on the internet. Facebook is down all over the place. But I decided I'm going to go on my personal profile to deliver this today because I really want to get this message out to you guys. I really want any musicians that have questions about this subject that we're talking about today, which happens to be using Facebook Messenger to engage with your fans, to learn more about your fans, to talk to them more directly. I am going to be talking about that today. And so even though it's late, I'm so glad that some of you are showing up right now on my personal page because I was actually unable to access the any of my regular pages. So great to see. Oh, hey, Allie, how's it going? Great to see Allie and Brooksy and Judy and let's see who else. Ondine, great to see you guys. So I deliver content every Wednesday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, usually on the Women of Substance page. But today we had a little issue, so we're doing it here. And I wanted to make sure to still deliver this content, even though we're a little bit late, because number one, tomorrow it will become a podcast, and I want to make sure that we stay on schedule with our podcast on the female entrepreneur musician. And I'm chomping at the bit to get on video because last week I was not doing video because I tripped and fell and had a huge, gigantic scar and all kinds of blood and all kinds of stuff that I didn't want to show you guys. So I'm here today and excited to be with you talking about messenger marketing. Maybe you've heard it talked about as Facebook Messenger marketing, and maybe even you've heard the term messenger bot. So I want to kind of demystify some of that for you guys and help you understand how you can use Facebook Messenger to communicate with your fans, to find new fans, engage with new fans, have real conversations. So if you guys have any questions about using Facebook Messenger to engage with fans, I'd love to have you pop them in the chat because I was doing a Q&A with some of my Academy members the other day, and this came up, and boy, there were a lot of people that were just confused about what messenger marketing is, how they can use it, why would they want to use it even, and then just the technology to make it happen. So I just want to go over the basics with you guys today, and I'm going to even get further to this in a couple of weeks. So first off, I want to mention at the beginning here, I'm going to be doing a workshop on Facebook Messenger marketing in a few weeks. I haven't decided on the date yet. I'm kind of leading up to it, getting to know how much interest there is in doing this free workshop, how many people would be interested in attending. So if you're interested in getting on the list to find out when that's going to be, and this is a subject that you really are interested in, I would love for you to go over to FEM115.com/messenger. That's F as in female, E as in entrepreneur, musician.com/messenger, and sign up on that list just so I know kind of the interest level that I have in learning more about messenger marketing, because this is something that I've been using in my business. I've learned a lot about. I really love it. And I want to teach you guys. I think it's something you guys can really use. So if that's of interest to you, go sign up there. And I'm going to get to talking about what messenger marketing is. So as I said, if you've heard the term like messenger bot or Facebook Messenger marketing or broadcasts, what that really is bot sounds so impersonal and it sounds so techy and it just doesn't sound fun, right? So what I like to think of it as is a way to initiate conversations with people that are started automatically. So the point of what they call a bot, it's more like if you had in your email program, maybe you have a welcome message that when people come onto your email list, they get a message that says, hey, thanks for downloading my song. I want to let you know a little bit more about my music since you seem to really be interested in my music. And so, and maybe let them know a little bit more about you. That's automated. that is usually, hopefully, an autoresponder in our email. And this is the same thing that a bot is in messenger marketing. What it is that you can set up messages that responds to people and can pose maybe questions or ask them to take actions without you having to be involved. So one key to this, I think, is to help people know that it is a bot. And I haven't quite figured out how to do this yet in my business. I think it might be easier for you guys, because I think it would be cool to have, you know, some kind of persona or character for your bot that's like, you know, I'm this person's, I'm Bree's #1 fan, or I'm the head of Bree's fan club, you know, what can I do for you? Or, you know, what can I tell you about Bree's music? You know, make it clear that it's not you, so they know, you know, that it's not like actual one-to-one conversation when it comes to the bot messages. But then what it does is it initiates an actual conversation that you're going to get involved in. It's just kind of like how we use, you know, automation in our social media. Maybe we plan our social media posts, you know, on Sunday night or something, and we know what's going to go out all week. But then we don't just ignore that, right? When people respond to our posts, then we engage with them. And it's kind of the same thing with messenger marketing. We have the ability for the bots to do a few things for us, but then we want to get in there and actually respond specifically to what people are saying. So that hopefully clears up what messenger marketing is. What you can use is an outside platform. I'm going to talk a little bit about it in a minute, but there are a few out there. I'll tell you a little bit about my favorite. But it connects to Facebook and Facebook Messenger, so you can actually send broadcasts to more than one person. So you're not sending something out to a group. You know how sometimes you get these group messages in Messenger and they're really annoying, and you know you're in a group of 50 people that someone has sent you, and you keep getting these messages say this person left the conversation, and you know that is not the way. That's kind of like the old way of doing email, right? In the old days you would send this group message to all the people that you wanted to come to your gig. When you didn't know how to do email marketing and you didn't realize that that was, you know, annoying and spammy. Same thing with Messenger. Like, we don't want to send to a group of people. We want to use something like my favorite tool, which is ManyChat, to send out broadcasts, just like we do with having email software. We can do that with Messenger by using an outside platform and software to send messages. It also allows you to send messages one-to-one as well and respond to people. So it's a pretty cool way of doing things. So one thing about Messenger that I really love is that you are talking to people where they hang out, right? It's kind of like, you know, in the old days, or hopefully it doesn't happen much anymore, but you know, when you're at home, you're hanging out and the phone rings and somebody wants to talk to you about something, you know, maybe there's a fundraiser coming up or whatever. So they are catching you where you already are. Now, people started to abuse that and it got really annoying, and then we had the do not call list and all that stuff. And Messenger is a little bit like that, so we need to be very, very kind in the way that we, you know, are communicating with people on Messenger, because the Facebook feed is kind of like a sacred space. People go there to like relax, to see what's going on with their friends, to be entertained, and you don't want to be invading their space with things that don't apply to them. The most important thing about using Messenger is you can tailor like their experience to what they want. You have the ability to ask them questions and get them, you know, get them tagged or get them on lists that apply to them. So, you know, if you're sending out a Messenger message about some gig that you're having and you're in California and, you know, this person's in New York, that's not really going to be helpful to them. So you want to use Messenger to segment out people that are in California, so you can send them a message about your gig and not send a bunch of irrelevant messages. So always keep in mind that you're kind of in people's personal space when you're using Messenger, And the other thing is that people really think, a lot of times, at least until this really catches on, they think they're having a conversation with a person. So, you want to be as personable as possible when you create your bot messages, but you need to maybe let them know that, like, I'm here to help you, but, if you want to talk to a human, then leave your question and we'll make sure it gets answered, that kind of thing. So as I'm going through this, let me know if there are any questions in the chat about messenger marketing, and maybe you've tried stuff and you wondered how to do stuff. I can totally help out with that. I see a lot of people are hanging out here. I just kind of want to take a glance and see. It's interesting because I usually do this on my page, which I was unable to do today, but I see a lot of people in here. We've got Carrie, we've got Allison, we've got Joan and Joe and Tina. Awesome to see you guys. Laura, Sarah, hey Sarah, how's it going? Jesse, so glad to see you. We were just having this conversation the other day, Jesse, weren't we, about messenger marketing? And I'm definitely going to be doing a workshop on that, as I mentioned earlier, and I'll give you the link to get signed up for that at the end. So I got a lot to go over here with Messenger, so I just want to make sure that everybody knows you are welcome to throw some questions in there. I'd love to help demystify this idea of messenger marketing. The other important thing to know is that this is a permission-based system, just like email. People need to be able to unsubscribe. And just know, like, that people will unsubscribe, and that's okay. They're not your super fans. Your super fans will want to continue to hear from you in Messenger as long as you're not spamming them. So, when I get 500 people on my Messenger list and 50 people unsubscribe over a few months, I'm not going to be upset, because I know that the people that stayed are people that really want to hear from me, and the people that left wouldn't have really paid attention to my messages anyway. So, but you need to be very, very clear to people that they always have the ability to unsubscribe, and you can do things like, make sure to say the word stop if you want to unsubscribe, or type unsubscribe. You can have that at the bottom of all your messages, and that will allow you to let them know that they can get out whenever they want to, because we want to be very, very courteous in this space. So next, people might be thinking, well, is this going to replace email? Should I just go all in on Messenger and forget about email? No, I do not think it's going to replace email. I still think email is very important, especially because people still use email for work. They use email for, important things. We've moved kind of out of the mailbox and into the email box, and I realize, more immediate things are often done on text and Messenger, which is why we want to be there. But email is not dead. I still think email is very important. And the other thing is, you converse very differently on Messenger than you do in email. If you guys are on my email list, you know that I like to tell stories. I like to write, a little bit longer emails, helping you understand where I'm coming from, getting you involved in a story or something that's happened to me so I can drive a point home. You can't do that on Messenger. If you do that on Messenger, people will unsubscribe. They do not want to read a book. They want, short, punchy little messages. If you've been on my Messenger list, you know that I usually send some kind of a image or a video or something, and a little short message, just getting to the point, being real fun and upbeat and using some emojis, that kind of thing. That's what people expect on Messenger, so you cannot take the same thing you're doing on email and move it to Messenger. They are just two different channels. It would be like saying, do everything that you do on Twitter on Facebook, or do the same thing on Instagram as you're doing on Twitter. Like, no, or Snapchat. They're totally different things. You treat them differently, and you add them to your arsenal as you're ready to. As you get one platform going and you're comfortable with it, then you add the next one. So one thing I do think that it might do, and I'm interested in trying this, is having it replace getting, if you're using a text message system. So, I have recommended to musicians, and many of them do, using text messages, getting people to opt in with text. on stage, because you need something really easy. You don't want to have to send them to a complicated landing page and all that. But what you could easily do is get them to subscribe to your messenger while on stage by having a really easy link for that. And then you're immediately connected with them, and you can even be able to like deliver them a free song, or you know, a personalized message or a video or anything through Messenger. So that's a cool way that I think we can go with Messenger. So what are the pluses to using Messenger over other things? Why would we even want to start using Messenger? The big one right now, and especially because it's new, is that the open rates and click rates are fantastic. You know, I have been using it for different things in my business, and I noticed that the open rates are at least over 80% for almost everything that I send. Click rates have been good depending on what the thing is that I'm asking them to do. But if I put something into the messenger, like for example a video, it almost always gets washed as long as it's short. So I just think that for right now especially, Messenger is new to a lot of people, and it's cool, and they're like, yeah, I want to open it. Or in some cases Facebook opens it for you automatically and it's at the bottom of your screen, and you're like, oh, what's this? And then you read it. So depending on whether you're using Facebook on desktop or if you have like the separate Messenger app on your phone, I think people are paying more and more attention to Messenger, and so they are opening. You might get a better open rate and better click rate on Messenger. The other cool thing, as I mentioned earlier, is you can set up auto responses. And this can be like a string of auto responses, and I'll give you an example in a minute, but you know, you can have them, you can ask them a question, and when you can give them an answer or a couple answers. When they click that, it will send them another response that you've pre-programmed. So it allows you to be able to, you know, maybe answer questions that are common, that a lot of people have. Instead of just doing that individually, you can do that through Messenger, through kind of an automated series. You can deliver, you know, information or, you know, special things to them, special gifts, easily through Messenger. Also things you can do with email, but I think it's made more fun in Messenger, and it's something that you can easily set up and, you know, set up in advance. And a lot of you maybe don't know how to use automation in your email accounts, or you don't have an email that does autoresponders. So this is a way you can get into that kind of ability to have maybe like a welcome sequence, or even eventually a sales sequence within Messenger. So some of the downsides of Messenger, one of them is obviously you don't own the platform. Like, you know, with email, you own all your email addresses. You got those, you put in the sweat and money and tears and all that to get those email addresses, and you have them in your CRM that you are, you know, keeping them all together and they're yours. Here, we don't own Facebook. We don't have any control. They could shut down Messenger tomorrow. So, you know, it's a great strategy, and I don't see Messenger going away anytime soon. I think if anything, Facebook's putting more emphasis on Messenger, having its own app, all that stuff, putting advertising, making that available for advertising in a lot of different ways. So I don't think it's going anywhere, but always keep in mind that we don't own Facebook, and that means that we don't own our contacts within Messenger. So if we do something that Facebook doesn't like, they could immediately just say, that's it, we cut you off, there goes all your Messenger contacts. Also, there are rules. So you can't be promoting to people on Messenger without asking them. You can send broadcasts, and that's what I recommend mostly for musicians. Like, I don't suggest that we try to get them to buy things on Messenger, at least not without asking them first. But we can send them broadcasts. We can say, hey, I just had a new video come out. Go check it out. That's a broadcast. We're not trying to get them to buy anything. We can, you know, just interact with them, you know, just like send them to a blog post. We can do all kinds of different things as long as we're not promoting to them without asking them first. If you do want to promote to them, if you want to say like, hey, my new album just came out, are you interested in finding out more? Then, you know, or which platform do you prefer to hear it on? And you could have like buttons for Spotify and Bandcamp and your website or whatever, and then they can choose. And once they do that, then you can send them information on how to access this and how to buy it. So we just need to be more careful to ask permission before we promote on Messenger. Because, you know, Facebook, they're very, very strict with these rules. They want to keep this platform very good and not spammy. So they will crack down, I promise you. So what can you do? And I mentioned a few things already. What can you do on Messenger? You can send all kinds of really cool things. You can send images, you can obviously send text, you can send videos, and you can send audio files, you can send GIFs, you can send, you know, you can use lots of emojis. They have a whole bunch of options there for emojis. And I can't even remember all the things that you can do. There are so many. But for musicians, I mean, there's just so many opportunities to send videos, or you can just send links. Obviously, you can send links to people to go to your YouTube to watch a video. You can actually send audio files in there if you want to. I kind of personally prefer the idea of sending them to a place to listen to an audio file, and you can, you know, use links and buttons and things like that. There's so many cool things that you can do once you start thinking about, you know, ways to use Messenger. So some of the ways that I've used Messenger, I've used it to send my freemium, and if you guys hang out with me, you know what I mean by a freemium is my free premium download. So for me, it's actually a resource, but for you guys, it would be a song. So you can definitely use Messenger for your lead capture in getting people to be on your list and sending them a copy of your free song in exchange. It's really easy to do with Messenger. You can also do things like have contests. I have run a couple of contests on Messenger, and I've said, you know, everybody that signs up on this particular link to my Messenger will get entered into this contest. And so you can set it up so you tag all those people, and then you just do like a random drawing between all the people that are in that tag. So that's kind of a fun way to get people on your Messenger list. And you can even do really complicated things which are amazing, like have a post and say anybody that comments with win gets added, you know, gets, they don't get added yet. It's all the permission, you know, they have to, it brings up a messenger and says, hey, want to enter this contest, you know, and then you say, you click yes, I want to enter. So it will never just like automatically enter them, but it will bring up a prompt for them to enter. And that's a really cool automated thing you can do with Facebook. So that's kind of a fun one. You can do a survey. You can find out a lot about your audience by creating a series of questions in Messenger. And it's really easy to do it, you know, just a short little text asking a question with, you know, a couple of buttons where they answer, they click the button that applies to them. And then depending on what they click, you can have another message that comes up that asks them another question. You can get as simple or as complex as you want on this. You have the ability to have kind of like this chain of messages based upon if they click this button, then they get this. And if they click this button, then they get this, and then they have another choice, you know, and you can get really complex with that, and that, you know, does get kind of confusing, so you want to kind of keep it as simple as possible. Maybe you just want to ask them one or two questions to get an idea, you know, what your audience is interested in, or maybe you're looking at some merch and you want to ask their opinion on which one of these they'd be more likely to buy, and you can send them that and have them just vote. You know, there's some fun things that you can do easily within Messenger. So let me ask you guys, do you think that this sounds like something that you would want to use? I want to make sure that you know what kind of, who should be using Messenger. Not just any person should be using Messenger. You have to be committed to it, because of the fact that when you use Messenger and when you even send out a broadcast, even if it's to like, 488 people like I do, it is still, they're going to respond to you as if you sent them a message personally. And so you will get a flood of responses, which is so awesome, right? You are engaging for reals with your audience, but you have to be willing to do that. You have to put that on your calendar. You have to make sure to go in and engage with them, either within your Facebook page or within the tool that I'm going to tell you about. You have to be committed to that engagement. And I admit that, like, since I started doing it, sometimes I have slacked off and I've not gotten in there to respond to people for a few days for different reasons. And I'm not saying you have to be there every minute of the day, but make sure that you get in there several times a week and respond to people. Don't forget that it's a two-way conversation that you're having on Messenger. So the tool I'm talking about is ManyChat. I love ManyChat. I use them. It is very, very affordable. In fact, I think it's free to start, and then just for $10 a month, I think you can get a little bit more features and not have their little sent by ManyChat sign and stuff when you send out messages. And for $10 a month, that is cheaper than any kind of texting tool that I know about that people have used to engage with their audience. And I think, with the fact that Facebook Messenger, most people have that sending them notifications on their phone, it's almost as accessible as texting these days, which is why I've, kind of put this idea into some of my students' minds that maybe this is the way to go versus texting. So ManyChat is manychat.com. I don't have any kind of affiliation with them. I'm just letting you know that that's my favorite tool. It's the one that I like to use, and I really know a lot about how to use it. So as I mentioned earlier, I will be doing a workshop on using Facebook Messenger to market and to engage with your audience. And I'm going to be doing that in a few weeks. I don't have the exact date yet. I'm wanting to gauge how many people are interested in learning about this. So I'd love to have you just go sign up real quick at femmusician.com/messenger. And I'll put that up here in the top once I'm done with the live stream. But go to femmusician.com/messenger. That's F as in female, E as in entrepreneur, musician.com/messenger, and you should be presented with a quick little form with just your name and email, just so I know who's interested, and that I can let you know when I have a date for this workshop. And it's going to be a free workshop, so I just want to make sure that any of you that are interested get on that list so you hear about it when it's happening. So that is kind of my intro to Messenger today. I will probably do another live stream in a couple of weeks, getting a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of Messenger and a little bit of the strategies. But I just wanted to give a really good overview, because I know that I've mentioned it in passing. I've had people that have been on my Messenger list, like, sending me messages saying, how are you doing this? How are you sending broadcasts on Messenger? So I thought I would explain on this live stream how I'm doing this, and just give you a little bit of base knowledge, so we can continue the conversation later, and you will know if this workshop is something that you're interested in doing. So I don't see any questions, probably because this is on my personal page and people are not used to hanging out here on Indie Interactive. But just so you know, we always do Indie Interactive every Wednesday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. It's usually on the Women of Substance page, but there's some kind of issue with Facebook today, and pages and even groups are not working. So they may be working for you, but they are definitely not working for me, and I looked it up, and there is some kind of massive outage going on, and it's very random. So for me, it didn't work. Like, I even tried to do a Zoom webinar and go onto my page that way, and it had a big red error. So I just didn't want to go on without presenting this material. Facebook was not going to stop me today. So This will then be a podcast tomorrow if you want to go back over this material, and I'm so thankful that you guys showed up today. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you next week on Indie Interactive.